Fred, welcome.
Thank you.
I have my own housing story about Fred I can share with you. When I was 26 years old, I bought my first house from Fred Coed, and it was great. And Chris Ford, Chris Ford and Fred, and it was the Pilgrim Bank back in the day, and Ed Mulvey wrote my first mortgage, and I was addicted to debt ever since.
Buying a house will do that to you.
Yeah, so welcome, Fred. Great to see you again.
Our mortgage got screwed up at Bank of America, and just last night I was saying, oh, I remember the days when the little bank and you took your check and that was it, and none of this automatic stuff that doesn't go through. It's been a nightmare, but anyway. Did you all meet Michael Ryan, right?
No, so let's call the meeting to order first.
Okay.
So we do have a quorum. Everyone is here, and so we'll open for our meeting, which is now 4:03. Cassandra is here as well, so I know Mary wanted to have this meeting on site, if possible. So if we continue to do so, maybe I can leave work a little earlier. I probably have to leave here by 2:30 or so to get there by 4.
That's true.
So, but welcome everyone. We do have a regular schedule here, but I'll jump right to Habitat for Humanity, and Tamara's on, and looks like Michael is here from South Shore Habitat. So Tamara, you want to do the introductions and tell us any updates?
Absolutely. Michael's been with us a little over a month already. We're thrilled to have him. He comes to us with a lot of marketing and education, community relations background. He has been filling our site in Cohasset with volunteers on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and the 4th and 5th Tuesday. He's been there more recently than I have, but I understand the rafters are up for the roof, and floors 1 and 2 are completely framed and sheathed. That is the green you see all around the top. And like I said, we're thrilled to have him. Michael, I don't know if you want to say a few words about who you are, but I have shared with Michael that this group has been integral in getting this project off the ground. As Susan and Beth say, 6 years in the making. Gave him a bunch of history, showed him the steps with the wrought iron railing on site. So, he shares this information with our volunteers, as does Sherry, who greets them each and every day they're there. Michael?
Yeah, thanks, Tamara. Yeah, so like Tamara said, my name is Michael Ryan. I'm the new Community Relations and Volunteer Coordinator with South Shore Habitat. I've been working here for a little over a month now, and just super excited to be working with Habitat. I myself volunteered for Habitat for Humanity. It was quite some time ago. I actually volunteered for a service trip in Pittsburgh and everything. So I've worked with Habitat previously, and just, super excited to get to, work with them full time now at this point. So yeah, thanks, everyone. It's great to meet you.
Great.
Perfect. Yeah. So if people want to volunteer to be on site and help out, you would be the one that would contact?
Yep, that'd be me.
Oh, terrific. And where do you stand right now as far as, are you booked through a certain period of time, or is there openings, or?
Yeah, we do have a good amount of October booked up at this point. There are a couple of days that we still have available for group builds. We offer group build opportunities. So for corporations, church groups, school groups, anything like that, they can schedule that with us. So we do have a few, openings with that. November, we're actually very, very open. So I would say that's probably your best bet if people are looking to volunteer. Like I mentioned, we do a lot of group builds, and we try to fill those up as much as we can, but we do offer individual build days as well, and everything where just, anyone can sign up. We can have up to 10 people on site at a time. But yeah, okay. So I would say, October at the end of the month, we do still have a couple of openings, but November is where we're going to start having a lot more availability.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of groups, and, it takes them forever to think about it. And so I keep telling them, you guys are usually booked out, 3 or 4 weeks in advance. Pretty much. So,
Yeah.
well, that's
Yeah,
good.
so-
Yeah, I would say.
I'm sorry, I
sorry.
keep interrupting.
So
I was going to
they-
say, groups
you have
should volunteer with Michael, but individuals can just go on our website and sign up as an individual. And that to your point, Paul, if someone says, oh my goodness, I have my Saturday free, you can see if there's any spots available and just come as, 1 or 2 people at a time. It is important that you fill out the waiver and watch the safety video, because until you do that, you cannot volunteer on site.
Okay. Awesome.
Michael, do you want to share our new age policy too? As of September 1st, we do have a new age policy.
Yes, as of September 1st, any construction volunteers, so anyone volunteering on site does need to be at least 18. In the past, correct me if I'm wrong, Tamara, I believe in the past we've had opportunities where, someone who's 16 or 17, accompanied by an adult can volunteer, but unfortunately now it is a new safety policy that everyone needs to be at least 18. We can make exceptions when it comes to school groups. What we say is that there needs to be at least, for example, if a group from a local school wants to volunteer, they just need to have at least one adult chaperone per every 5 students. So like I mentioned, we can have groups of up to 10. So that would mean they, if they had a group of 10, they would need at least 2 chaperones with them at that point. But we do have non-construction volunteer opportunities as well. So actually coming up pretty soon, we have our golf fundraiser event, and we're going to be looking for volunteers to set bags. So there are some opportunities as well for, non-construction volunteers. So, we do have those available as well.
Oh, terrific. Okay.
Paul, Paul,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any way to
Sit
look.
over here, because it's looking
Well, it
right here.
only looks at whoever's speaking.
So, yeah,
Anyway,
so now
Oh,
the,
we see you.
Okay, I just wanted to say hi to Michael because I'm Susan Sardina. And I have organized, we have a group coming from Hingham Congregational Church, not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday, October 5th. And we currently have 8 people signed up. We're hoping to get 2 more to fill up to 10. I had asked Sherry if we have any extras, if we have 12, was that possible? And she said, yes, but no more than that. But so if we don't get 10, what I wanted to ask you is, because I'm going to be out of town this weekend, so I won't be at church to talk to anybody else to find out about it. But if we don't get up to our 10 by the time that we're going to be doing the build, should I let you know in case there's somebody else who wants to just come and join our group?
Oh, it's okay. We usually, generally
Okay.
speaking, I am relatively new to the position, so again, correct me if I'm wrong, Tamar, but generally speaking, if, we have a couple open spots, usually we don't open those up for individual. We just, because especially a lot of people, especially with corporations, church groups, things along those lines, a lot of people like the bonding experience and team building experience of a build. So yeah, generally speaking, if there are a couple of spots open, we don't offer those up for individuals, but
Okay.
yeah, and what we usually say is, maximum 10, minimum of 5. So absolutely, if there's a group of, it doesn't have to be 10 people. If it's
If it's
8,
eight,
that's totally
Yeah,
fine.
8 is a great number because if you're lucky, Susan, either Aaron or Tanda our homeowners will join you as well. So you'll have a full crew.
That's good. And we have, our youth group is going to be preparing and bringing snacks for the group.
Oh, good.
So that'll be provided. But I wanted to inquire, I was hoping to try to find somebody who could maybe bring lunch for everybody, but the woman who had volunteered, unfortunately, her mother-in-law passed away, and that's when they're gonna be doing the memorial service for her,
Mhm.
that Saturday. So
Um,
what do people do for lunch? Do they bring their own? Do they go get pizza across the street, or
Yeah.
what is it
Susan,
normally happen?
Victoria's has been such a wonderful partner of ours. They're offering a very inexpensive lunch, and they throw in chips and a drink to thank you for your volunteerism. And then eventually, as we get we kind of cement our partnership, for every lunch purchase, they're going to give us $1 as a donation as well. So we are sending people to Victoria's. If you wanted to send one of your folks over with an order before the lunch crowd, they'll have it ready for you, and they've been really wonderful to work with.
Okay. Yeah, I did let the group know that there was a pizza place across the street. I didn't remember the name of it, but okay, so
Yeah,
that's.
it's mostly sandwiches, just so you know. I think they have some pizza, but the sandwiches people just rave about.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, well, so Michael, I don't know if you'll be there, but you know, I'm not gonna be doing the work, but my husband is. I'll be there cracking the whip for everybody.
Sounds great.
Just remember, Susan, that you don't really need any skill to participate, and Sherry will find something right up your alley.
Right, well, if we don't get up to the 10 or 12, then I'll just stay and do whatever they can have me do. But I just
Okay.
can't do anything that's requiring any lifting, any of that stuff.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
okay.
use it on my back for nothing.
Taking pictures is great too. We love pictures.
Yeah, I have a hunch you'll be a good supervisor.
Okay, thanks. For me, that's all. I just wanted to introduce myself to Michael.
Thanks for doing
Thank you. Great to meet you.
So when I talked to Mary in preparation for this, we are at 80% funded, so that is wonderful. And we have a very good plan to kind of get us to where we need to go. Some of that does include the build days. For corporate groups, it's 2,500. For community groups, it's in a $500 donation. But we have several grants still in the works. And as we're building, some of our individuals that we started talking to even a year and a half ago are still very interested in learning more about the project. So I do imagine the next 4 to 6 months will be fully funded. And we're moving and shaking. So it's really great. And again, I still would love to hear from you guys if there's any individual that you think might benefit from a conversation. We could certainly meet up for coffee. You could just give me their name. I could make an introduction. The other thing I just wanted to mention in terms of fundraising that doesn't really affect us, but Habitat International is taking over our direct mail. So we usually send direct mail to some Cohasset folks. They have taken over our direct mail. So you may hear in the community, oh, you know, I got something from Habitat. It looks a little bit different, but we are really trying to work with our international partners and our sister affiliates to kind of give one message that we're all here trying to do the same thing. We're committed to affordable housing. And if you want your money to stay local, there will be a checkbox on any reply device. And if there's any questions about what people may be receiving the mail, what you might hear in the community, please have them give me a call. But it is really a way to streamline our efforts and not be in competition with, you know, the institution that kind of gave birth to all of the affiliates. So that's just kind of inside baseball kind of thing. But as you guys have your ear to the ground, you may hear something, but they do a much better job than we've ever done. And we will have the opportunity as the program goes to really talk about our local affiliate and what we're doing specifically. So it's exciting.
Down here, 'cause I can't see you in the thing. Are you on the
So,
screen?
when do you anticipate, since you're farther along now, we had talked about maybe, the, I don't know, ribbon cutting, if you will, would be sometime in March or April, or?
The families will take ownership of the homes in June, so we're probably thinking late May, early June for that. And it is a lovely ceremony that we'd love for you guys to be a part of.
Are they, it's just the same woman who came to the Christmas stroll with her son?
Erin is living in one of the homes, yes, so she will be there. And then
Okay,
Tanda is a single woman. She works in the homelessness space herself, and she really wants to be a foster mom. And her current apartment does not qualify for her to do that. So as soon as she closes, she's going to open the other bedrooms for people who are currently living within the foster system, mostly in the group homes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
terrific.
she's lovely.
Yeah, yeah. So it's to have your name on the waiting list is one thing, but to then be identified and then wait again. God bless her for
Yeah,
taking it
So-
out with her son, you know.
yeah.
By the time
So,
she gets there, her son will be graduating high school.
he will be, when he moves in, he will be in high school. Right now, he's in
Yeah.
junior school.
Yeah, yeah, I remember, yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Folks, I don't know if anybody knew, was introduced to Fred Coed, who was our new member. Did I
Hi.
do that and I missed it or?
Hi, Fred, nice to meet you. Thank you for volunteering.
Look him over.
Fred is on the Housing Authority, which is at 60 Elm Street.
Okay,
So he's the representative for Cohasset Housing.
fantastic.
And previously, I told the story of Fred driving my handicapped brother to work every day in Boston. And he had a painting crew going to
Yeah.
Harbor Tower.
Yeah,
So he was very helpful to our family and my brother.
So tomorrow, the two residents who will be moving into the two units, there's a woman named Erin and her son,
Erin, and her son is 12 years old.
okay, and then Tanta,
Panda.
and then she'll have whoever she gets into the foster
Yeah,
system.
she wants to, yeah, she'll probably have a rotating home full of love. Yes.
But when she moves in initially, they won't be in there, right? It'll just be her.
I don't know what the program is like and at what point they'll be able to tour the house. But I know as soon as possible, she wants to grow her family.
Well, once she applies to be a foster parent, she has to go through, I think it's 8 weeks or 10 weeks of training. And then they have to do what they call a physical standards checklist, which is all the stuff like smoke detectors and, she's gonna be in great shape because it's a brand new place.
Okay.
And so they do all that and then they run background checks, queries and, just to get fingerprinted. It's a whole process. And then you can wait a bit to get a kid because they allegedly try to match, the right people with the right kids. And we parents, and we waited, I don't know, 6 months for our first. And I know but then they gave us a kid who was exactly what was in our, it was in our age range. And we had wanted to eventually adopt and he was pre-adoptive. So they kind of take their time and it's frustrating because you think
Make it fit.
we hear about all these homes they need, but the kids even these days are even more difficult. So they have to really be careful who they place. It can take a bit, but
Mhm.
once you're on the list, the calls keep coming. So
Yeah,
and that's great. I'm thrilled for her. Great.
yeah, we're very excited to work with both of them. She's actually coming into the office tomorrow to help stuff those golf bags as well. So thank you for mentioning that, Michael. Our golf tournament, just so you guys know, is on Monday, October 7th. It's 2 weeks from yesterday. We do have several spots still open. If you know of any golfers that want to join as an individual, it's $350 to play at Marshfield Country Club. We have probably 8 spots left. And they're coming in fast and furious today. So if you guys play golf, please let me know, but I'm much happier today than I was yesterday. Michael will attest that I was, pacing the floor on my cell phone, calling people, but today, I feel like I did my job yesterday.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is with golf tournaments, but everyone waits the last week before they sign up.
They all do, and I kept saying
Oh.
it's not a big deal, it's not a
Yeah.
big deal, but our board meeting is tonight, and trust me, if I wasn't where I am right now, I'd be a little bit nervous.
I know,
But
yeah.
for those golfers, Marshfield Country Club is just a lovely place to play, so they do a good job for us.
Yeah, we used to have one for St. Anthony's and you'd stand out after church trying to sell tickets every weekend, you'd sell 2, you know, and then the week before you'd sell all 100 of
The
them.
rest of them, exactly. So you know what it's like.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that is actually taking on the gingerbread build this year for South Shore Habitat. And it's really a great way for community groups to get involved. We're looking for hosts, whether that be schools or businesses or churches, to recruit 10 teams. So it's $100 to, build a beautiful gingerbread house that we supply. We supply the ribbons, we supply trivia for you guys to, play with. Tablecloths, but it's just a way to gather people. And most of them happen between Thanksgiving and New Year's, but we're starting our recruitment now. So that's something maybe your group wants to get involved with and do together, or you could take it out to the community, which would be great.
So, are you going to welcome him into the gingerbread house building this year?
Yes. I completely pass it off because he's so capable. But I like to deck the hall with gumdrops.
Because we have the Cohasset Stroll that we do every year, and we had the table set up out. Unfortunately, the Abington Bank, who bought the Pilgrim Bank, is now going to be, I don't know if they're going to call it the North Shore Bank or what they're going to do, but
I know they're merging, yeah.
Yeah, they merged. So might be just the Blue Bank in the village now. I don't know what it'll be, but we'll be there. We can get another table again if you want to do that, or
I think it's a great.
I know there's some folks at St.
Stephen's
Stephen's that did some folks at St. Stephen's that did a gingerbread.
They did a
building
gingerbread build.
weekend. Yep. So a little fundraiser there. So there's plenty of opportunities.
Michael, do you know if there are any other churches in Cohasset that are signed up yet to do any of the builds days?
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so at the moment.
And has there been any interest from the Greek or Orthodox, I think, the Greek church across the street? Has there been any feedback or interaction with them? I go by and I see their parking lot totally empty, day after day, and it appears to me that they didn't even offer to help people park or anything.
Well, they just, in all fairness, they just redid their parking lot. Ideally, yes, that's where we would have loved to have our volunteers park. But right now we're being very successful right on a little over Jerusalem Road, and the Department of Public Works and Hull is helping us out on the weekend. It's right across the street. And then we really haven't had any problems parking, but they were concerned that their new parking lot would be damaged, which
they just repaved that whole
they just
thing.
repaved.
Yeah.
But I am hoping that they'll do a volunteer day at some point. We have been in touch.
I'm hoping all the churches in town will, because this is a first. This is the first
I know.
of any kind of builds like this, other than like when Avalon came in, to have any new affordable housing come to town.
Right. Well, I think the gingerbread build is a great introduction to involve the kids. And then, the adults can then, once they build with gingerbread and eat it, they could actually build with real construction equipment and have fun doing that as well. But, Michael will have some flyers that, if you want to share them with folks that that'd be great. But you guys are the biggest advocates for affordable housing and been our biggest cheerleaders. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the update. Welcome, Michael. I'm sure we'll be in touch over the next couple of months or so. I know, we have some opportunities. We had a table during our town meeting. We have another one coming up. I believe it's December 6th. Real quick. So I'm sorry, December 9th is a Monday night at 7 p.m. We have special town meeting. I know you guys had a table last time. Yeah, at the high school again.
Okay.
I didn't get a lot of traffic, a couple of questions here and there, but I was surprised people ran in. And there were a bunch of other tables and someone would come in and see somebody they liked, so they went to their table and, but,
Well,
but
Mary,
certainly-
let's stay in touch with that. I know that both Aaron and Tander are more than happy to come join you at something like that, and learn more about the community as well. So they'd probably want to attend the meeting.
So, you know, if it's effective, just sit there for the first
yeah, Howard.
hour of people coming in, then you get to leave as soon as they, you know,
Yeah,
usually don't- we
exactly.
don't get a
exactly. It's
quorum
very,
until-
very short, yeah.
yeah, they don't get a quorum until like 12 after 7. So if you're there from 6 to 7 and you have something you can hand them that says volunteer, get 10 volunteers for $2,500, or, you know, get your nonprofit in here for $500. Please call
Mhm.
me. If you have something specific that you can hand them and they can take home with them, that would be effective. But, you know, I don't know if we want to sit there and just give a project update, you know, if we specifically
Yeah,
ask
no,
for
we
something.
always have little tchotchkes to give
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, because
And,
the Cohasset stroll is probably, my guess is, it's usually the week or two before Christmas. So my guess it's that the weekend, after maybe the 14th or 15th, I don't know.
yeah, you could just
So
let us know and we'll keep our eye out too.
Yeah, and then, you have your annual dinner in May.
Yeah, Framing the Future is our premier fundraiser.
Yeah.
That it's actually going to be in April. It's going to be on Thursday, April 26th or 9th. I think it's the 6th though.
Where's the
Um,
location this year?
It's going to be at Granite Links again because people loved it last year.
Yeah, okay, good,
And
yeah.
because we're also building in Easton, it's a great way to have people kind of come together. But more information on that obviously later. In terms of events right now, it's really all about golf and it's about gingerbread build. We also will have a women's build in March. And that will be in both Cohasset and Easton as well.
Okay.
So just concentrating on how affordable housing affects women a little bit differently than men, that women can build just as heartily as a man can, and Sherry will prove it. So,
Awesome,
but men of course are welcome, but you know, it will focus on women building. So that's a 2-week long effort.
okay. Hey, on the gingerbread, thing real quick, how does that work? People buy the kit and they build
No,
it?
so we're asking hosts to host about 10 groups. We deliver kits, tablecloths, you know, the trays. We try to get some candy, but encourage you guys to bring candy as well. We have a list of holiday and building trivia that we give you to kind of keep it lively. But it's really just a time to get together with friends and family and have a little party, build gingerbread for about an hour, hour and a half, and you raise $1,000 as a collective group, and that's a lot for people to feel good about around the holiday season.
Yeah, if you have something, specific on that, you can, send out to the group.
Yeah,
Because,
as soon as it's updated, we will send it out.
okay, yeah,
Probably
because
in the next week or so.
something we can kind of start planning ahead of time, you know, now that, you know, everyone was back in the swing of things with school, we can go to some of these groups
Yes.
maybe and then, and kind of promote
Yeah,
that
it's
aspect. of
great
it.
for school groups, great for National Honor Societies, community service organizations, football teams, everyone can get involved, really. The Carver and Rockland High School has done it with us both, and it's a great time.
Okay.
You should have seen the environmental club. Their gingerbread house had solar panels on it.
Sure, okay. Yeah, just tell us what the, you know, what the financial model is. If, you know, you try and, you know, is it, you know, $50 a person, that you raise? Is it, you know, whatever it is, just let us know.
Yeah, it works out to be $25 a person if you have a group of 4 doing the house and you have 10 houses, it's $1,000.
Okay.
Great way to do the math.
Okay, awesome.
But
Look
you
forward
know,
to seeing it. Yeah, because there's a lot of groups that we could, you know, I say we, it's mostly Mary, has, been all over the farmer's market and across town, and people always say, I want to do something, and this could be the tool that we say, listen, this one's real easy.
Yeah,
get-
and you could,
you
you
get
could
the
build it in
kit.
your house. Like, I mean, I'm sure that, my daughter who plays, hockey, bring a
Yeah.
hockey team in, each family does one and that's it. Done.
Awesome.
Team Michael, it's easy.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
We
And
appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
make sure that we get, if you want Michael to be on the email list for our meetings or not, it's up to you tomorrow. So whatever we'd like to
Yeah,
do.
I'll forward them to him or Cassandra.
Okay.
I can make sure you have his email.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so
Thank you,
much.
Mike. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
bye. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Fred.
Same here.
All right, so we're going to move on to the agenda, which is affordable housing development site updates, which is kind of what we're still under. So now that we have the habitat update, the last updates that I had pretty much were things that are already in process. One was 147 South Main Street we talked about. And that, I don't know, Cassandra's, if he's ever filed yet for anything with the state. He was going to rent one of them out at the affordable rate until he filed with the state. So wasn't sure where we were with that.
To my knowledge, he has not paid MCO housing to begin the lottery process.
Okay.
Do you
One
have any-
Pleasant. What's that?
I don't know if he has any of the market rate units rented. I don't think John has issued any COs as of yet.
On Pleasant Street, they're converted to condominiums. So they're waiting on getting an occupancy permit, but those 4, I believe, are going to be, if they're not already on our list.
They are not, the LEU has not been signed off on as of yet.
Let's see. Those were the only 2 that I had, that we had talked about. I know that, I don't know if planning board or anyone has heard from anybody with, I want to say, I'm going to call it the gas station because I don't have the address. I thought it was like 27 South Main.
55 South
55.
Main is under new ownership, but we haven't received word if they are going to be doing anything in particular with that property.
Okay. So right now it's just overflow parking.
Sure.
And that's 55 North Main?
No,
55 South
South
Main
Main.
Street.
All right. And I don't know if we have anything else as far as those projects go. I know that we did speak with the Housing Trust, which couldn't get a quorum in August. I couldn't make the September meeting because I was at the 9/11 service. So I don't know, were they able to get a quorum that go around, Cassandra?
They were able to get a quorum. Were you looking for an update on the unit that they own? Or just an update from them in general?
Yeah, I wasn't able to attend to do an update for them, so I didn't know. We had talked about identifying some property for them to take a look at. And they also still expressed an interest in us helping out Rob Henry with finishing up some project management on Elm Street. So I got to get together with him at some point to find out what it is he needs help with. It
Yeah,
might just be,
I'm willing to help, but then we never heard anything more about it.
yeah, so
That's the
he-
case anymore. They've hired a new project manager for that. Yes, to take
Okay.
over the project.
which project is that?
The 43 Elm Street.
that was a Habitat property, and then one half of it was being sold again, so they're
They're
involved in
getting to
that.
go on the rolls.
Okay, so they have a project manager then, that's fine. I keep forgetting they have money because they're a trust.
I was the treasurer there for a while.
Were you over there, Fred?
Yeah, on Elm
Okay.
Street, yeah, when we first started.
Okay, oh, good, yeah, they were just having a hard time the last couple of meetings trying to get a quorum. I know Ted Carr has been busy on the election campaign trail, so and a few other people have been in and out on vacations with July and August, but they seem to be back in the groove. There was some land that we tentatively talked about, which is the property on Pond Street and Pond Street and 3A basically, that the town had purchased. And I believe it is referred to as 585 CJC. And so we haven't had an opportunity to go into it with details with them. I did meet with the building inspector over the property. It already has septic, so it's kind of a piece of property that's ready to go. The town owns the property. It
You know
was
how large that tract of land is?
so it was where the Esposito Landscaping Company was at one point.
Yeah, I just didn't know how large it is.
I think it's,
Yeah, it's-
I think it's about 5
That's-
acres, isn't it?
Because there's a lot of wetland in the back of it
Yeah.
that is unbuildable.
I thought
So
it was
there
about
are-
5. I don't know.
Yep, so there's certainly wetland challenges there, but there is buildable land there. The town bought it because they were gonna put up a first responder station there. So they kind of held it for a while. But now that they bought King Street, they don't need this property, so we just want to review it to see if it's an opportunity to where, some housing could be built, the rest of it would be turned over to conservation or somebody, is my guess, the land that isn't buildable, but there's basically 4 lots there. I don't know what the total acreage is. It could be 5 acres, which 3 is buildable, or 7 acres, which 3 is buildable. I don't remember the exact numbers, but
What do you mean there's 4 lots?
correct, there's 4 lots there.
Subdivided into 4 lots.
Yes,
Okay,
and there's access and buildable from King Street. And there's access and buildable from 3A. So most of the wetlands that you see is on the corner of Pond Street. And most of Pond Street on that lot. And
Yeah, there's a conservation sign there on that side right by it.
yeah, so let me see if I can.
How big would the lots be if they subdivide it?
yeah, that's what I was trying to understand.
I still think there's an awful lot of wetlands there.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of wetlands towards the back if you're on 3A, but
You
it's
need
not.
you need like a 50-foot buffer at least from wetlands.
Yeah, so let me see if I can share my screen.
Cassandra, do you have a fuller?
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
For,
so let me X out of a few things
I
here.
don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the property right here and highlighted in yellow and gray. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like with the wetlands in it. Those are the wetlands in blue. So there's buildable area down here, there's buildable right here, and there's buildable back here. So the property already has septic on it. And it's in pretty good condition from what we understand. Had been inspected at one point. So the town already owns the property, so we're looking to see if it's actually buildable, which it kind of looks like it is. We would have to find out what it would take to see if it is buildable, and then
I only see 3 lots.
There's a strip at the top, like a triangle. in
That
the
little
middle.
tiny thing?
Yep,
there's one here.
It's a marsh.
Number 2 is here, number 3 is here, number 4 is all wetlands, right? So,
Yeah, that little tiny ones. Seems
Yeah.
to look large enough to build. Is that large
so
enough?
that's all the property, that's everything that the town owns right there. So the question is, how do we, what does it take to determine if it's buildable or not? So I don't know if that's just something the building inspector says, yes, it is, and that's all we need, or is there some cost to having somebody, actually survey the property and see what you can and can't build on it? Then we have to determine if it's something that the trust would like to have it transferred to the trust. Then that would go to town meeting. Land gets transferred, then the trust would go out and find folks to build some sort of housing. And remember, it could be something, it could be certainly like the 40R type of housing, which is the smaller dwellings, 1,200 square feet homes or something like that, so maybe that's what ends up on here. It doesn't have to be 2,500 square foot colonial, it could be something smaller.
There's
So-
enough of a demand for that's really a way to go. You could do a cluster and just not build in the area where the wetland is.
I had mentioned
I
a while ago that I think a college, like Harvard School of Design or some class or task force or something, if we gave them this concept, but have them have a,
Brainstorm,
and or even have a competition or a design charrette or something like that, to get some, some decent free advice and design, because I don't think these kids or younger people have a chance to do affordable housing, where they are.
Is this 3A along here?
Yes, yeah,
And then where's Pond Street then?
it's right there at the
Yeah.
intersection.
This
To the
here?
top,
there,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So there's obviously 2 types of affordable. So if you look at these, if you look at these little orange squares that are here,
This is
Yeah.
buildable in there.
those are existing homes. So if you could see how small this is compared to this lot over here, you could put, 2 or 3 maybe, in these
Yeah.
gray areas. So,
How would you access this one right there?
yeah,
Yeah,
plus this
so-
one right here, there's one right here already abutting the wetlands that might be within the 50-foot buffer. We don't know, you know what I mean?
It's like
Until-
King Street access.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
this is the King
Yeah.
Street, this is
It'd
Pond
have to
Street,
be.
right? This is
Not gonna-
Pond and King, yep.
You're not gonna get a curb cut from DOT for that,
No.
for just one house or 2 houses. You'd have to go in from the
So
back.
really, this is the only buildable area in here. Cause you can't get to it, right?
King Street. It's abuts King Street right
This is
there.
King Street down here.
This is King, This is
Abuts
King Street. This is King Street right here, so you have access directly on King Street right here.
Well, depending on how large that is, whether that's large enough to even put anything on it.
It's more than 50 feet, that's all you need.
So if you look at the property next to it,
Yeah.
Side yard setbacks.
It's
No, for access, no, frontage is 50 feet.
Yeah, but
I
you still
think
have
is
the
it-
side yard setbacks,
Is it
right?
frontage 50
Yes.
feet? Frontage for a lot like that would be 50 feet minimum, right?
For now, yes,
Yeah.
they are, well, this would be in a commercial district, so they're currently looking at some amendments for the residential districts for changing that, but they're not looking at commercial districts, so.
But this is gonna be residential, but it's still a commercial district?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a commercial district, it's not a
Okay.
residential district.
Okay, and what are the setbacks, side yard? Because I
I,
mean, this is very tiny, the way it shapes to the back. I
They
mean, I
have to
don't,
go for a variance possibly, that's why you bring in experts to
Yeah, you
kind
gotta,
of
yeah, somebody's gotta
see
do
what
it.
you have to work with and what the possibilities are and what variances you need.
You need engineers and surveyors and
right.
wetlands people. And like I
And I don't
said,
know how you'd access that one then. Cause there's, the street's over here.
they
That's
built,
why we bring the experts
that's
in.
right. They've built bridges over wetlands before.
Yeah, so, I'm kind of in the category of, we've identified the property to see if it's something that could be buildable. So we would have to find out if it's buildable or not.
Yeah.
But obviously based on, what we call affordable. So remember, we have the small A and the big A. So this might be the small A version where, the properties are deed restricted to a certain size home. And we're able to get a number of homes there, then it becomes something that's affordable, right? And not necessarily something that's deed restricted to 40B.
But the trust has money in it to be able to pay for surveyors and people to come and assess I know the wetlands are already mapped out, but to
Yeah.
make a determination about what areas are buildable and what aren't.
Yeah, because this is obviously kind of not to scale, or the accuracy of the scale may be different than what's there. So I don't know. But that's where this particular piece stands. So this is the one that's the easiest thing to do. We did, if you recall, Mill Lane and Heather Drive.
Right.
Those properties we identified, and that was transferred to the trust with a lot of hand wringing at town meeting. Though they ended up passing and going into the trust. I believe right now the trust has Heather Drive property. They went out for bid. I believe there's a bidder where it's going to be sold to. I don't know what the status is of the Mill Lane property. And then the other property that we worked with on the trust was the 808 Jerusalem. That property was transferred to the trust for the sole purpose of doing the affordable housing there as well. So those are three things that we've already did through the new process that we have with the town. So, we all went through learning curves, all the different departments on, getting this through town meeting, getting it through whatever the processes are through the various committees and boards, and transferring property from one agency to another, that kind of thing. So we've kind of exercised all of that now. So we should have a pretty good idea on how a process would flow to be able to do this particular property, if that's something that works out.
So Paul, Heather Lane, they're selling is what you're saying?
Heather Drive.
The drive, they're selling it?
Yes.
So I don't know the status of it, but I know that was out for bid.
The status is that they're selling it. There is a PNS that needs to be signed.
Okay.
It
I don't
won't
want
be-
I don't want to disclose, I don't want to disclose anything that shouldn't be disclosed. So I just want to make sure that, I know it went out for bid. So.
I think it was determined that it might not be economical enough to build affordable housing on it for that. For the, I think there's ledge and stuff, and I thought it was,
But somebody will come in and blast and do
Yeah.
it anyway, so.
Yeah, so the option that was out there for the two properties was, is the lot big enough to be able to build a home on it? And if the answer was no, then the property could be sold to one of the abutters who, may want to, add that to their
Yeah.
property as one whole, property. So So that's where they are. So they identified the property, they put into the trust. Like I said, I haven't heard anything on Mill Lane, so I'm not sure where they are. I'm sure we can get an update from them next month when they meet again. But, so that's where all that is. I don't know that, I don't know where we would stand on this. I have to present to the trust when they have a quorum to see what they want to do, because the select board would have to declare the land surplus, I think, and then transfer it to the trust, and that would have to happen through town meeting. Something to that effect. And I don't know that I have any other property updates other than that. Does anybody else have any other?
This is Mary, I've got a question. I know there was a controversy about increasing rents up at the Avalon / Estates. Has there been any movement or news on that, or is it going anywhere?
Yeah, so let's let's save that for, let's get through the agenda. Yeah, so that's fine. So as far as affordable housing updates, we're good there. Okay. The next item was subcommittee updates, and so Mary gave us an update with Habitat. So we certainly have that. I can give you an update on the Preserve. And that is that I was directly contacted by a number of people, since we are the Affordable Housing Steering Committee. I did have to remind people that we're kind of all about new housing, not about fixing existing housing issues. But I did get involved in a lot of conversations, met with the state representative, went through what their processes were. For those of you who don't know, a new ownership took over Avalon, and it's now called the Preserve. And in doing so, they made some business decisions to where they're changing the way that they run the property, that is different from what the residents were used to under the Avalon ownership. So what has happened up there is two things have happened. One is for the people that are renting under the affordable part of the 20 units or so that are up there, their rent went up a lot more than it usually goes up. So that caused an alarm with quite a number of people, which started causing all the phones to ring. They came in front of the select board last, I want to say April, because it was before the select board elections. And they, Avalon or the Preserve, are required in a contract with the town to come before the town once a year and let them know if they're doing any rent increases or what the status is of the property. So they came before the select board, said, hey, we're raising the rent. Because the 2020 census are out, we get to recalculate based on the new numbers from the state, and this is what we're doing. And a number of folks spoke out against it. I was at that meeting. The state representative was at the meeting. Supposed to have a follow-up after that. And we didn't hear back from anybody. I sent the chairwoman of the board at the time was Jean Dippold. So she had sent me their contract, asked me to review it and get back to her on what she thought, anything that we could do as a steering committee. So I did do that. And then didn't hear from anybody since then until this latest go around. So when the rent went up, a lot of people called to say, hey, where can I go? Where in Cohasset is there affordable housing? So I did take a few calls from some folks to see what we can do to help them. Of course, most of what you can do is only explain to them that, you've got to go into the state portal and or try and find something on your own. Stop and Shop, they've been booked. He's got a waiting list of people that want in next time something opens up. Of course, there's always 60 Elm Street for folks, but they would have to go through that process. So after all of those calls, people started looking into what the issue is. And of course, what happened from there is regular residents all started complaining about the quality of maintenance and repair and the effects of their units. And so that caused a lot of problems because a lot of residents started coming in front of the select board to discuss the problems and ask the town to do something. So the only thing the town can do, which is what they just implemented, is they have the right to inspect the properties from a Board of Health perspective. So I believe they are putting a process in place right now where when there's a dwelling that is vacant prior to a new tenant moving in, I believe they're going to inspect the facility and charge them. I believe they discussed $100 fee for inspecting the property up there, but they have been going up there to do inspections, and that's kind of where it is. I told most of the folks that we're a steering committee. We've been focusing on new affordable housing units that could be put in Cohasset, but we're not a maintenance committee of properties. And
Is
But-
there anybody else that can do that? If we can't, who can they go to? Who can the
So-
renters? go to?
yeah, so I offered to some of the folks that work for the town and the state representative that if there's something we can do to help out on a regular basis, that we would certainly take a look at it. But I think the issue you really have is what needs to be done has to come from an agency or a group or a department that has legal authority to make decisions. So
Is there-
currently that's the Board of Health.
Well, the Board of Health wouldn't control rents though, would they?
No, what I'm
Yeah.
explaining to you is that all of the issues that are up there, when they had asked us to help out, we don't have any type of authority to help out in those areas, whether it's rent control or whether it's, living conditions or whatever it is. The only authority that lives in the town right now is the Board of Health for that. So, as far as rent control, the town has no authority over rent. The state is the only one who has authority over rent. There's a state agency specific to how things are calculated for 40B and applying the rent to the tenants. And the state representative mentioned that she was working with that agency because they felt the calculations that they were using were different. Yeah, where the data was from a different database than they thought it should be from, or something like that. So there's a question on how to calculate the rent. So that's unfortunately, the only one that controls that is that state agency that she had mentioned. I don't recall the name of it. So there's one state agency that handles rent control, or how the affordable units are calculated for rent. So it's been somewhat of a complex situation up there. I haven't heard much in the last couple of weeks, so I'm assuming it calmed down, but I don't know that for a fact. But I was getting calls and text messages and emails for like a month straight, almost every 2 days. And so I don't know what else is going on there, but that is where that property is. So there's people with governing authority that are working on it. So I'm sure that something will be worked out eventually. Certainly get an update for you, Mary, by our next meeting.
I've got a friend up there, I'm just writing, I might try to see her, not about this, but in general. You're right, you reminded me.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of, there's no law against being a unattentive landlord. So that's basically a lot of the complaints were surrounded by that type of atmosphere. So like I said, when folks get involved, they start to peel the onion, they can address what the underlying issues are. I don't have any other updates that I can think of, unless you guys can think of any. And I don't know if Fred, usually during our Beth and I are both on the Elder Affairs board, and Taffy is on that board. So we usually get an update from Taffy, but it'd be great to get an update from you. I think you have a new director over there, and
Yes, yeah, we have a new director that started a couple months ago. So she had been working as a staff person before, so she's familiar with the complex. And things seem to be moving along pretty well. We have, I think, an issue with vacancies. We're always trying to fill them, but the procedure is kind of convoluted, and so we've been working with the state rep trying to address that. But basically, I think we send out a lot of envelopes statewide, a lot come back undeliverable, and it just seems to be very paper intensive, time consuming, and
Whole system needs to go back to the way it was before. It was so much
something
more
needs to happen, yeah.
manageable. Does the director also do Norwell? Like,
The old one did,
yeah, I know. I didn't know if this one
yeah,
did.
she retired,
Oh, okay.
so the new one is just Cohasset.
She's not doing both.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah, I know. I thought there were like 6 or 7 vacancies up there, but every time they contact somebody on the list, they're like, "No, thanks. I'm already somewhere else."
It's that, or yeah, it's frustrating. I think it's actually closer to 9 or 10 right now.
Oh, that's just
Yeah.
terrible. Such a need. Oh, God.
So.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the update.
Okay, that's I know it's about 5 o'clock now, so I just I didn't know if anybody had anything else they want to go over. We have our next meeting, we're looking at the 15th of October, which is a Tuesday at 4 o'clock again. And then do we have minutes to approve?
Sorry,
Can we use this room again?
I'll have to look and see if it's available.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm happy to meet in person because it was wonderful not to have to start an hour ahead to try to get, to get online and then have it still not work, so, but, I mean, I can't.
So is there, I know I saw the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve them?
So moved. Sorry.
Second, whichever.
Okay, first, second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nice
Meeting
job, thank you.
Minutes were approved. Fred is here.
All the
Habitat is,
of the world.
God bless him, Habitat is moving right along. There'll be gingerbread houses coming in about 4 or 5 weeks.
That's
And-
between us. I contacted her last Thursday and I didn't get an answer. And I had contacted her again yesterday. And I
Who's
didn't
that?
get- Oh, tomorrow,
Oh.
to get
Yeah.
a report, and I only got 2 sentences at 2:30. So, I'm sorry it was not complete, but it's the best I can do.
Okay. Are we adjourning?
Awesome. All right, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Oh, I heard
Welcome,
Fred that,
Fred.
I definitely heard Fred that time.
Bye, thanks.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Fred. Great seeing you again.
thanks
care.
thanks for organizing this, Sandra.
Where's the habitat?
So you'll,
Oh,